What is up guys, SAuPSAurjAgA here with another deck guide for you. This time I'll give you my guide on Spell Hunter. This is a really unique archetype which doesn't run a single minion in it. The reason for that is the synergy with Rock-Delar and To My Side, which both require you not to have any minions in your deck. The deck emerged with the release of Kobolds and Catacombs when the weapon Rock-Delar got introduced to the game. Back then everyone laughed at that weapon, but people actually made that archetype work. They didn't actually use the weapon, since Barnes and Nisharj proved to be the better choice, but still. With the introduction of To My Side in the Witchwood and the recently introduced nerfs, Rock-Delar finally found its rightful place in this deck. People say that Spell Hunter is a control deck, but if you ask me, the deck can be control, tempo, aggro and mid-range all at the same time, depending on your mulligan, your opponent and the cards you drew. It has great tools to stick minions on the board while removing your opponent's board at the same time, and it can generate a ton of value in no time. The deck can sneak out quick wins before turn 7, and I find it the strongest in the mid game. Even in the late game, it can still go for the win from the sheer value from Rexxar's Zombeasts and the ton of spells Rock-Delar gives you. The key to victory here is to know when you should switch to all-in mode and just stomp your opponent's face, or when you should go for the Death Knight and start generating value. Okay, now let's look at that big bad deck. I have to say, there are many cards in this deck that can be swapped, so you can really tailor it to your taste and your meta. Here's my version of the deck, with which I'm currently climbing to Legend with. As you can see, I only run one Arcane Shot and one Candle Shot, since I find them a bit underwhelming in most matchups. The two Hunter's Marks and Tracking are a must. Hunter's Mark can save you from those big giants and lots of other minions, combined with Arcane Shot, Candle Shot, Explosive Trap, Unleash the Hounds and even Bite if you decide to run it. Tracking, on the other hand, gives you a great tool to thin out your deck and fish for those elusive Spellstones, Rexxar and Rock-Delar, but you can use them for just about anything else, which makes it an excellent versatile spell for you. Moving down to the secrets. I run 6 of them. Explosive Trap is great versus small white boards and it does 2 phase damage, which brings you closer to that lethal. Freezing Trap is just amazing in the early game as well as in the late game, and Wandering Monster is great in early. It gets rid of most of the early game minions your opponent has, and the minion it generates can even stick on the board if you have a bit of luck. Just hope you don't get a Howl Fiend, because you will be in a lot of trouble. I decided to run one Bite in the deck, because it really helps you deal with your opponent's board, and you can combine it well with your other removals. You can change Bite for a secret of your choosing, or Flare, or a Wing Blast, and you can also swap one Explosive Trap with another secret, if you don't like it. Animal Companion, Eagle Horn Bow, Kill Command and Unleash the Hounds don't really need explanation why they are in this deck. Flanking Strike is great since you can remove an opponent's minion while you advance your own board. I like to run one Wing Blast as well, so you have an easier time dealing with the enemy minions, but it is not really a staple in this deck. And the Spellstones, Rexxar, To My Side and Rock-Delar are your mid-game bombs, which can get you the win even in the late game. Some people run only one To My Side, but I find it too OP to replace. Now let's look at the deck's win rates. The deck does really well versus both Miracle and Odd Rogue, which is great since both those decks are very popular in the meta right now. Tempo Storm says it does really well against Warriors too, but I find that hard to believe. The deck puts up an even fight against most other decks, but it has a bad time against most of the popular Druid decks. Its true downfall is Priest, because of those pesky Duskbreakers and that dreaded Psychic Scream, which fills your deck with minions and ruins the whole idea of your deck. Other than that, the deck is really versatile and you can outsmart almost all of your opponents if you know what you're doing, and you get a bit of luck with that RNG of course. Okay, now let's look at those mulligans. Again, here are all of the Tempo Storm mulligans. As I said before, I find it very helpful to double check here before I hit that confirm button. I don't always follow their advice, but it's a nice boost of confidence when they have a similar idea against a certain class. Here are some general tips about the mulligans. Always keep that Spellstone no matter who you're playing against. Even against Warlocks and Priests, it is worth it since they will have to deal with it, so you will just have to pray they don't have their removals. Most of your secrets are great too, since they upgrade your Spellstones and they generate a lot of value in the early game. Versus some heavy control classes, it is worth it to keep Rexxar, and you can even use it as an AoE against paladins, but you have to be a bit lucky there. Playing it on turn 6 can give you a massive swing, and if you get a few good pulls from the zombies, it should get you that win. Overall, you just have to decide what playstyle you'll be using against the different classes and mulligan accordingly. Now let's move down to some gameplay tips, starting off with tracking. Tracking is great when you're in desperate need of some of your core cards, and sometimes it is a great play for turn 1 too. There will be times where it is better to save it for later on though, since you might misread your opponent and pick the wrong card. Next we have the secrets. Keep in mind that it is better to try to save your secrets for when you have a spellstone in your hand, so if you're not getting pressured, a hero power might be the better choice. You should also pay attention to the order you play your secrets in, because that will be the order they actually activate in. Moving on to the Ego Hornbow. Most of the time it is better not to go face happy on your opponent with it, so you can trade his minions, but sometimes you can use it as a bluff tool. Let's say a warlock has a giant on his board and you have only one wolf, an explosive trap, and you equip the bow. If you hit the warlock's face, he might believe you are sure that he will activate your secret on the next turn, and he might even not attack with the giant at all, fearing a freezing trap. Same thing goes for Candle Shot. If you have a secret equipped and no minions on the board, you can attack the enemy free HP minion, bringing it down to 2, and 9 times out of 10 your opponent will take the bait and skip the face damage fearing an explosive trap. Like I said, Spellstone is always nice to have in your hand, and you can sometimes play it fully stacked as soon as turn 4 if you have the coin and some luck. Usually it is perfectly fine to play it with only 3 wolves, but it is a bit weak if you only play it with 2 wolves. If you are able to stick him on the board and follow it up with a 2 my side on your next turn, it is usually GG from there on. Deathstalker Rexxar is an excellent board clear and it gives you 5 armor, which is crucial in some matchups. Be careful playing him though, because you might regret losing that steady shot. The zombies take some time to master and a lot of creativity. Here are some great combinations. Cave Hydra and Vicious Scalehide can do nice AoE damage and heal. Cave Hydra and Vileblood Skitterer can be used for a triple kill. Exploding Bloodbath with a Gastropod can be used for a full enemy board kill setup. An Exploding Bloodbath with Vicious Scalehide can do some nice AoE heal and damage. You can do a lot of other crazy combinations too. It all depends on the situation and your Zombeast's RNG of course. I will put up a link to Hearthstone's Build-A-Beast app in the description below, where you can test out your Zombeasts in peace. Sadly, it still includes the beasts from the rotated sets, but you will be able to get a basic feel of the mechanic. And lastly, we have Rogdalar. If you know you will play it in your next turn, it is best to dump whatever you can before that turn, so you can maximize your generated spells. Don't rely on it too much though, since it can fill your hand with a lot of useless stuff, and it can even force you to mill a card you really needed, like Deathstalker Rexxar. If you are still unsure you want to go the Spellhunter way, and you don't have both its legendaries, you can try running it without Rogdalar and see how it goes. If you don't have both Rexxar and Rogdalar, you can substitute them and 2 my side with 2 Savannah High Mains and some more secrets, just to get a few of that archetype. So that's about it for this deck guys. I hope this helps you better understand how to play and how to play against Spellhunter. Thanks for watching, I'm SAuPSAurjAgA and I'll see you in my next video.
Thanks for watching guys, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and ring that bell so you don't miss out on our awesome promotions, including our top 3 plays of the week. Each week we are giving away amazing eSports prizes just for liking and sharing on social media. For all other eSports bonuses, check the links in the description below. Until next time, happy gaming folks.